Welcome back to Axis and Allies, the anniversary edition. It is the US's turn this time. They currently, yes, as I've been making a mistake, knocking off the IPCs for them as Japan was taking over Chinese territory. That does not have to do with the US IPCs. So the US is currently sitting with 41 IPCs. So that is what they're going to be spending right away here. They were building up their Pacific Fleet. They were building tanks, artillery and infantry and transports over in the eastern US. And they're probably going to be continuing that kind of activity. So let's figure out what they're going to spend their 41 IPCs on this time. Alright, so the US will be spending their 41 on 2 submarines, 1 destroyer, 1 transport, 2 artillery, and 2 infantry units. And that's what they're going to be buying. Alright, let's figure out where the US is going to be doing some attacking this time. I think they've got some that they can do. Oh, I'm really tempted to take the artillery here and try and attack Libya with it. It would be attacking with a 2 versus a 2. Yeah, I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to try it. Because then we will be landing more troops in Morocco, Algiers in the non-combat move. So let's see if the US can take this over. That would be a boon for them. If they can't, well, they'll land more troops afterwards. Okay, they do have a bomber and a fighter. So let's figure out what they want to do with at least the bomber. Alright, and continuing on the Italy first for this playthrough, they're going to take the American bomber, is going to go 1, 2, 3, and it will do a bombing run on the factory at, in Italy. It's already got 1 damage on it that can produce a total of 6. And how bombing factories works in the anniversary edition here is you can do up to double the production value in damage to the factory. So as you can see, it has a value of 6, so it can produce 6 units there. It can take a total of 12 damage, and then after that it can't take any more damage because it's virtually destroyed. So that's how that works. So it currently has 1 damage on it. Italy did not repair the damage, but they did build 4 infantry. As the Allies will hope that the US bomber unit can do some more heavy damage there. They do have an anti-aircraft gun, so the bombers might get shot down. The American bombers used to, when they started out, they were doing daytime raids. They lost an awful lot of bombers, I believe, doing that strategy. Alright, that is, I believe those are going to be all of the attacks that the US are doing. They're going to be a lot of reshuffling of units, I think, coming up, but those are our 2 attacks. So let's readjust the camera. We'll do the Libya attack first. Alright, well, this is just going to be a straight up 50-50 chance over time. So we're going to use the black for the attack. So the US is attacking the Italians in Libya. They need a 1 or 2, and they get a 5. Alright, and the resistance there needs a 1 or 2, and they get a 5. So they're pressing the attack. We'll just keep going. Alright, 1 or 2 for the US. Nope. 1 or 2 for the Italians. No. Keep going. Dice fest. 1 or 2. Nope. And 1 or 2 for the Italians. And this time, okay, there was a protracted battle lasting an awful long time. Unfortunately, the US couldn't pull it off, and their armored or artillery unit has been destroyed by the Italian infantry. Alright, it is what it is. Alright, we're going to readjust the camera. We have a possible bombing run to go on here. Alright, well, the US Bomber Division is coming in here to Italy, trying to take out their factories. And yes, Italy gets anti-aircraft fire. Now, if they roll a 1, they have shot down the US bombers, and they're not going to be able to do anything. And they roll a 5, so that does not happen. So the US bombers make it through all the flak from the anti-aircraft gun, and now they are going to do a 1d6 of damage to the Italian factory. and 3. Oh yeah, that's nice. Now the Italian factory has a total damage of 4 on it. I'll get the tokens on there in a minute. So that means Italy can only produce 2 units there if they don't start repairing their factory. So that's actually pretty good. Let me get that set up. So after all of this happens, now it is going to be non-combat moves. And the U.S. has quite a few little things they're trying to finagle around here. Alright, so on the Atlantic side of the world, the bomber unit has a range of 3. It will fly back 1, 2, 3 back to the UK. And there's that. And now we have a bunch of units here. So the destroyer is going to stay here, but the transport is going to go 1, 2 to the eastern seaboard. These 2 transports are going to take an infantry and an artillery. So one transport will go 1, 2 here and drop them off in Morocco, Algiers, and the other transport will go 1, 2 and take one of the armored units. You can't take the 2 armored units on one transport, so I kind of messed up their build there a little bit, but that's the way it is. And the aircraft is also, the fighter plane they have in the UK is going to go 1, 2, 3, and it is going to land right here, Morocco, Algiers. So the US has a pretty decent build-up now there of units. All right, over to the Pacific we go for some rearranging of units over there. Alright, so the US is going to start moving out their sub-fleet, and their subs from Western US is going to go, 1 to the Hawaiian Islands, 2 to the Solomon Islands. Now, why are they going to the Solomon Islands? Well, they're going to the Solomon Islands because they are 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4 away from the Japanese destroyers. So they're just trying to hang out here. They're coming down kind of to Australia region, possibly going over, trying to nail some of the Japanese fleet here, or at least putting the pressure on them. So that's good, and possibly protecting the British fleet a little bit as well. All right, we have more units up there, the aircraft carrier and the destroyer, but we're going to leave them there. And let's go back to the Atlantic to place units down on the eastern seaboard. Alright, I feel like the US has a pretty good grip on North Africa now, although there's quite the Italian fleet there, and we'll see what happens. So we're going to put 1 transport down here, and they're going to be putting the 2 infantry and the 2 artillery in here as well. So now they have more units they can shuffle over to Africa on their next turn. Alright, back we go to the Pacific Theater for them to put down the 2 submarines and the destroyer. Yep, the Americans want to keep the pressure on the Japanese, so they're going to put down 1 destroyer in here, and the other as well, the 2 submarines. Whoops, as that one slipped right out of my fingers. So 1 sub, so now they've got 2 subs, 2 destroyers, and a loaded aircraft carrier. Japan's looking pretty formidable though, but at least the US is building up a threat for later in the game. And I think that's going to be all of the movement for the American troops. So they are currently sitting at, they were 41, they're still at 41, so they're going to collect their 41 IPCs, and we'll call that an episode for today. And when we come back tomorrow, we're back to Germany. Alright, well, it was another relatively quick episode, and yes, I completely forgot about China. Totally forgot about China. Now, the Japanese haven't totally wiped the Chinese out yet, so we do need to do China. So we're doing that right here at the end. Now, China only controls 1, 2 territories. That's it. And they take the number of territories they control, divide by 2, and that's how many infantry they get. So basically, bottom line, the Chinese get 1 infantry. And I think, oh man, what are they going to do? I think they're going to go ahead, they'll go ahead and put the 1, oh dear, they're going to put the 1 infantry right here, I guess. That's where they're going to put it. And that will conclude the US/Chinese turn for this time. So thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for your comments, subscriptions, likes, dislikes, participation of any kind. It really helps with my channel. I really appreciate it. This is Axis and Allies, the Anniversary Edition. Probably one of the best versions of Axis and Allies that you can get. Other than the 1940 Europe 1940 Pacific, where you put the two boards together. I think the two board together game is 7.5 feet long. This one I think is 46 inches wide by 26. It's huge. It's very, very much the size you need to have a nice global game. And yes, I'm using the double amount of tokens or units as well, so that's why there's so many Russian troops out there. I don't think you get that many in the game, I can't remember, but I do have double the amount. Anyhow, enough talking for me. Thanks so much for watching along. It really helps me out. And I hope to see you tomorrow for the continuation. We will be back to Germany, taking their third turn. They're looking a little bit overwhelmed at the moment. Italy's really done a good job to help them out, though. Now, that could be short-lived. The U.S. is really piling into North Africa. So I don't know. We're gonna see where this thing goes. So thanks so much, and hope to see you tomorrow for the continuation.